All right, so as Joe said, we're going to leverage the Canvas conference tool that we have. Essentially, if anybody's done online classes or been in grad school or anything like that, it's basically a web conference portal that you can connect to, and the teacher can share out content, whether it be their screen, the webcam, whatever else it is. You're going to communicate through the internet. Really straightforward. Once you guys see it, I think it all makes sense. All right, and what I want to do is I want to be able to show you guys the teacher side of it as well as the student side of it, so you get the full understanding of exactly what it is. And just for this presentation, we actually have an exchange student from Athens High over here to help us out for a second, and he's just going to switch back and forth between our videos. So I'm just going to record this so we have it, and I want to make it available to everybody on a Canvas course. What's that?
You're scaring everybody.
I'm scaring everybody.
I haven't been there. Been here.
He's actually not allowed out of the country right now. All right, so I'm going to record this so we have everything for everyone. We'll post this on the Canvas course so that everybody can record and watch it out. All right, so first things first, we're going to hop into Canvas. And thank you, Chrissy Rabinan, for allowing me to steal your content from your US 1 page, even though I didn't ask you, but thank you very much. So, so we're going to jump into conferences, all right? And super straightforward, I have a couple conferences already created under new conferences, and I have concluded conferences. Well, just like you create anything in Canvas, you want to look for that big red button. Okay, in this case, we're going to choose plus conference. When I choose that, it's going to put me into a wizard. That wizard is going to ask two things of me. The first and most important thing is the naming scheme. All right, so by default, it's going to take the course name. My suggestion to you guys is to use some combination of the date and the period that you intend to have this conference for. So what we want to do is build out some sort of shell. We don't know when this is going to happen. So what I would say is essentially have the naming scheme be the date. So today's the 12th. I think I got that right. And we'll do period. Good. If I could spell, that would help. Period date. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, I want you to check that button that says enable recording for this conference. If you don't check that button, you're not able to record. Pretty straightforward. Okay, well, we're good to go.
Bigger,
Sorry?
like larger, like you can't.
How's that? The beauty of touchscreen. So right now it's 60 minutes by default. You can change that to whatever you want. I can change it to 40 to match what we have for the period, but you can start and stop the session whenever you like. So I usually just leave the default. Okay?
What's Big Blue Button?
Big Blue Button. What is Big Blue Button? Big Blue Button is a third-party software that Canvas reaches out to make this conference stuff work. Okay? So what you're going to see is when I start this actual process, it's going to reach out to Big Blue Button, open up a new page, and build out the conference. All right. So I'm going to zoom out and choose Update. Wow. It really did a lot, right? Okay. Nothing is going to happen until you hit that start button. So you guys can see that I have multiple classes created for multiple periods for multiple days. All right. The idea is you want to think about a couple days out, build out those periods that you're responsible for, and build out a period for each one of your classes. And we're going to get into more of this when you have your department breakouts. All right. So I just created the one for the 12th. All right. And essentially, I need to start this up. So I'm going to hit the start button next to this. It'll spawn a brand new window, and it's going to ask me what I want to do. I'm going to be prompted with a question. By default, you want to choose microphone because you're going to be communicating with the kids. Chrome is going to ask me to allow that microphone. I choose allow. And it's going to...
You are currently the only person in this conference.
So that was the speaker test. Sorry.
It works.
It works. So you're going to go through that process each time you create a conference, okay? That way you can communicate with the kids. All right, so it looks like we already have a kid in here by the name of Michael McCabe. Hey, buddy. First things first, you're in the conference, all right? Just like you have your own classroom management, you have certain things you want the kids to do when they walk into the room, whether it be, sit down and be quiet or put their cell phone in the cell phone holder. You have certain things you want them to do. Here are my suggestions. Start from the left-hand side where you have the users menu, okay? This is where all your kids come in. Make sure you press this gear, okay? The first option you want to choose is mute all users. This is hard enough as it is already, guys. Don't make it harder on yourself. You don't need 24 kids screaming in your ear. Turn their microphones off. So that's the first thing. Make your life a little easier. Next thing, go back to the gear, leverage this. Go to lock viewers. Again, this is hard as it is. You don't need them to have their webcam, their microphone, using public chat. Turn all of this stuff off. For the time being, make your life a little bit easier. Don't let them have all those extras, okay? If you slowly but surely feel more comfortable in conferences, turn something on, you know? But do it at your own level, do it at your own speed.
Do you have to do that with every class?
Yes,
Every lesson?
yes. There's no default that you can set.
Can we do that in advance? Like, can we set all this up in advance, or this is on the day of instruction?
This is as soon as you hit start,
Is that at the time the class starts?
right?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide the public chat here just to create a little more real estate for myself. And what I have is I have the essentially dashboard, Canvas, everything in this area is what the kids are gonna see. Right now, if a kid were to join, and Mike will show your screen as well, and hopefully we'll have our exchange student join in a second. They'll be able to see anything that's here. So right now, all I want to do is make sure I go to start recording. I'm going to press this button. It's going to ask me if I want to record. I hit yes. Boom. I'm starting to record. So now everything that happens in that window is going to be recorded and saved for later. Okay, so we're ready to go, ready to rock and roll, but I want to take a second and switch over to the student view. Okay, so the student comes into Canvas. They see that my course is in progress, notified by the green icon. All right, and all they need to do to join is press that red join button right next to that specific class. When they do that, they get the same issue. They spawn another window. They have been defaulted to listen only. So they're gonna have audio playing on their computer, they can't use their microphone, and look, they see everything that I just saw. So if I were to present something, that screen would change for the kid, okay? So we're gonna go back to my view. Awesome, all right. Oh, look, Mr. McAdams joined. All right, great guys. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna share some stuff out. You guys have your content out there, whether it be in Canvas, Google Drive, you have some files there. You just need to have another medium in order to share this stuff out, right? Well, how do you share this stuff out? How do you show the kids what's up? You know, you're already talking to them over the microphone, but you need to be able to share some of this content. So if you go in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this option that says share your screen. Can everybody see that? Good? Okay. So once you press that button, you're immediately populated with the wizard. All right, the default option is to share your entire screen. Okay, great, no problem. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that on this. Oh, do you have Zoom on that?
Zoom it in. There you go.
So the default option is to share your entire screen, okay? Now, that's fine, but remember, if you share your entire screen, the kids are gonna see all your mouse gestures, the things you have in the background, you know, anything private, like your banking or like a Facebook page or something social media you might not wanna have up there because the kids will see it, okay? So if you're comfortable in closing all that stuff down and then using it, fine, no problem. But you also have two other options available to you. You can use application window or Chrome tab. Well, application window, you can share out a specific app, and Chrome tab, you can share out a specific Chrome tab. The beauty of those two is the kids only see your actions on that specific application or that specific Chrome tab. If you interact with something that you've shared out, they can see it. If you're doing stuff behind the scenes or you're working on some other thing that's not shared, they don't see any of that. So really use this to your discretion. All right, so I have no problem sharing out my screen. I select my screen and I hit share. What's going to happen is at the bottom, I'm going to have a window that comes up that says you're sharing out this and this, and you'll be able to see that you're sharing this out. So I'm going to share this out now, and press this button, and then we'll switch over to the student view so you can see exactly what that looks like. Okay, there's my button at the bottom. It shows my screen. He's switching over to student view. And that's recursion, as told by Mr. LaRocca over there. We have a funny video we'll share with the staff later, but no. All right, so I'm sharing on my screen. You're seeing the student view. I'm moving around on my screen right now. So let's say I wanted to go to the Northern Highlands website, for example. I click that. Boom, I hope. There we go. It opens up. So basically you're seeing every single keystroke that I'm taking, all right? And I can stop this at any time I want. So I'm gonna hit stop sharing on my screen, the student loses the video, okay? And they're just sitting there waiting. Not too bad. All right, so in addition to this, going back, great. So we're going back into our demo. So now I'm back to an empty canvas essentially over here. You also have another option where you can share out your webcam. Now, the kids are already hearing you with the microphone. You don't necessarily need to use your webcam if you don't feel comfortable. It's not on by default when you join in, okay? You've turned off all their cameras, but here's how you do this, all right? So if I press this button that says share webcam, it'll start asking me if I can allow it. I choose allow. It'll find all the webcams that I have. Okay, look, there I am. By default, it's gonna put the front webcam up at first, but for all my math teachers and science teachers out there that love their document cameras, you can switch this over to the rear camera, and if that's how I can find a notepad, here we go, we can project that as well. So I'm gonna switch this here, I'm gonna start sharing my screen, and you'll see a little box pop up here, sharing at that screen. Okay, so I can take that now and essentially drag and drop it just like I would do with any other Windows property. You guys can figure that out, but I also can go to the corner and the edge of this and also resize this if I need to. Good luck, everybody's on camera. All right?
Document camera.
So this is essentially another replacement for your document camera if you'd like to do that. Okay, and this is easy to get rid of if you want to turn it on, turn it off. Just go down to the bottom and hit stop sharing webcam. Okay, so that's essentially it for the sharing the content. There's one last piece that I want you guys to see. We have our users on the left-hand side, all right? As far as attendance is concerned, you're going to be in the middle of teaching, sharing content, doing this, and this is going to be a little messy initially. But what feature you have with the gear is saving all the usernames. All right. So if you press the gear, you can press save usernames. That'll produce a text file of all the kids that are in your class. You can then take that, go into Genesis, enter that in. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this canvas here. Now, pretty much showing you most of the features in this. The only thing left now is essentially to end the actual demo.
Can you show whiteboard?
Yeah, I can show you whiteboard. All right, there is a tool palette on the right-hand side. If you change the slide over to slide 2, you get a clean whiteboard. All right, you can't do anything with this red dot right here, but if you choose a different tool, like the pencil over here, you can then draw if you'd like. You could create shapes, tools, and whatever else. It's not as great. I mean, if you guys want to do actual, math functions and draw stuff out, you might want to think about using OneNote or Google Sketch or something like that. Something that's a little more powerful, but this is available for you. But this is why we wanted to talk about the document camera. Alex?
Upload PowerPoint anywhere?
So you can upload a specific file if you want. If you go to the bottom left-hand corner, you can choose upload a presentation, and you can choose a PowerPoint, and then it'll click right through. The other way to do it is you can do a screen share, launch PowerPoint, and present, and it's the same thing.
Are we allowed to use Canvas and post something and then just be available for discussion?
Yep.
Okay.
Lisa?
I have presentations coming up next week and in the evening about having a PowerPoint or any presentations that you can actually go into your users, students during your class. If you can make them a presenter, they can upload their presentation and go to presentations and do it.
Right. So Lisa just basically said you can make your student a presenter if you want. We turned off all those options initially. I want you guys to be comfortable with the actual practice of doing this, and then maybe we can get into that, and I'll send out instructions regarding that.
So I have I teach 3 different courses, and I'll have a Canvas page for each of the 3 courses. I don't have them for different periods. Will I be able to, so if I go into, let's say, my FLT class, and I have a period 6 and a period 8, will I be able to make one class specific to them? Or should I just make it and then have the kids sign in, and then whoever's there is my kids?
Yeah, the second, you should
Okay.
really just create one for each period and then go from there. There are ways of creating conferences specific to those sections, and you get into it at your department meetings, but right now it's a little hairy. I would not advise doing that. Gina?
So for courses that use apps like AutoCAD and Revit, I'm feeling probably a couple students are going to have glitches or errors. Are they, if I mute them, it would be nice. I don't have it's not working, Wi-Fi, all that. But maybe they can type chat with me and say, hey, it froze, I can't connect to Wi-Fi, my file won't save, I can't do this. Is that something that
they private chat with you?
Yeah.
Well, with the initial options that we set, we turned all that off.
Okay.
So where I went to the gear, right here, where I went to the gear and then I went to lock viewers, I turned off private chat. If you feel comfortable with the platform, I would turn it on then, but if you feel comfortable now, go ahead and do it. That's the thing, they can private chat with each
I
other.
think it's
That's
send her
why.
an email, if you keep your email open on your phone.
It's probably better you just do your email. Great suggestion, Donna. And there's always Google Hangout if you want to have a conversation with the student privately. Sidoni? If you enable private chat and the public chat, they can ask you questions, but I think for right now, you probably leave it off. I think it's best to get comfortable with the actual medium and then move on to that environment. All right, and I think, hey, Rush.
What's the difference between public and private chat? Private, they can send messages to each other, and then public, everybody has to see?
Yep. It's like public is a global chat room. Everyone sees it. There's accountability behind it. You see who messaged you. Everyone can go back and forth. It's like a giant chat room. Private chat, you go person to person. All right, so most of these questions are going to be asked and answered throughout department breakouts and whatnot, so let's continue with this. All right, so I'm going to show this. I want to show how we end this session. All right, there's a couple steps. It's a little annoying, but this is how we got to do it, guys. All right, if you go to the top right-hand corner, press the options button. Okay, we're going to choose end meeting. All right. Okay. Oh, that's really loud. Okay, it's done. I close out of this. Well, you think that's over, it's not. So if I refresh this, my conference is still going on. I need to hit end. Every time you're done with a period throughout the day, make sure you hit end. Otherwise, the kids are still going to be able to go into this, join, talk, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you hit end. And until you hit end, it's not going to give it the notification that my class has ended. Now I want you to turn that into a recording that's going to be available for people. All right, and at the bottom I have my recording from earlier today. I'm not going to play it, but all the kids would do is just click on that, and then there's a presentation. It'll open up in another window. They can play it if they want. All right, so that's conferences. Just want to jump back into the PowerPoint real fast. Okay, tech troubleshooting. Guys, we're going to invite you, oh wait, don't panic, okay. We're going to invite you into a Canvas course that Mike McCabe, Tony Rock, and everyone else have put together. It's going to have a couple how-tos on how to work with conferences, Google Drive, and a lot of the things within Canvas to make this a little bit easier for you. Within that, we're going to start in our own web conference. I'm going to be sitting in there facilitating tickets, handling any troubleshooting that we need to, and handing it off to the techs accordingly. In addition to that, we have made a distribution list called techadmin@northernhighlands.org. Pretty much the same thing as A1 Tech, northernhighlands.org. I'm sure everybody remembers that. That's going to go out to all the different techs, and we'll hand out tickets accordingly. You can start out a Google Hangout if you want with them, but for issues that we have where you can't get on Wi-Fi, your computer won't start, something that's a little bit more intensive, we're going to ask that if you send that email out, include your cell phone number so the guys can call you. All